Welcome back to Sunday Self-Love with me as Amar, your Sunday morning kiki conversation about all things self-love, wellness, and our journey. Today we're going to be talking to Natoya Hall, which this is a long time coming. Y'all don't even know. Like, we've been talking about this for a year, so it's been in the works.
It's been a minute.
Yes. And I'm super excited to have this conversation today because I feel like as I'm scrolling through Instagram and the interwebs, I'm seeing so much conversation right now around like healing and spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
I have clients coming to me like, what are tarot cards? How do they work? And folks I'm seeing intrigued and also a little bit scared. And I'm really hoping this conversation today is a space that can feel safe for folks to really truly start to figure out for themselves where it fits into their life and like what they can do more so in their healing journey in collaboration with their self-love journey.
Of course.
So can you share with us a little bit about your story? Like, how did you start this process for yourself?
Yeah, well, with me, I grew up in a very strict Christian home. Actually, my dad was Catholic and my stepmom was Christian. And so we were in church every Sunday. We were that family that, you know what I mean? We prayed and fasted and all that stuff. And I just remember the turning point in my life was when things stopped adding up. When I got wise enough to ask questions, my questions were being, you know what I mean, answered.
Yeah.
So, and I remember at one point I went to my pastor and I said, I was asking him some questions because I was really, I'm like, this part of the Bible doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense, right? And he looked at me dead in my eyes and he said, if you keep asking these questions, you're going to go to hell. So you just stop asking the questions. Right?
That makes me so uncomfortable, and I'm forever going to be shocked by that. Like, that someone out of their own ignorance and discomfort would say to a child. Like,
yes. Yeah, I was like, 10 to about 12 years old. So I was a baby. I was young, right? I didn't know. And then when I entered high school, I kind of entered this new phase of my life where I was just trying to figure myself out because I had things about me that I didn't understand and I couldn't talk to anybody about it except for my best friend at the time.
Yeah.
Things like I could see things, I could hear things, and I didn't understand it. I didn't understand what was going on with me. So then she came and she gave me this book by Sylvia Brown, this really dope psychic lady at that time. And it was a book called To Heaven and Back, or The Other Side and Back.
Okay.
The Other Side and Back. Get this book if you, amazing book.
I feel like I need to go read it because I haven't heard of it till now.
Oh my God, The Other Side and Back. And she explains to you everything about angels, everything about the other side, everything about dimensions, everything you can ask about God and everything. And she was just like, she broke the system down. She was just like, listen, your guys are right here with you. This is their names. This is how you call on them. This is how you can take work with them in your life. This is how you can heal your body. This is how you can do. And I was blown away.
Yeah.
And I read this book. This book is maybe about this thick. And I read this book in 3 days.
Wow.
And it changed my life forever. And that was my awakening because as soon as I finished reading it, I couldn't see life the same anymore. There was no way for me to look at life the same.
Yeah.
And I think what it did was it activated something within me that opened me up to realize the vastness of this universe that we live in.
Yeah.
And that nothing was what we were brainwashed to believe it was. We live in a holographic universe, and that propelled me into the work that I do today. Yeah.
That's so beautiful. I feel like that guidance and that support is so necessary, because I know from my journey, I didn't really start getting comfortable with my gifts until much, much later in my life. I would say maybe my early 20s, maybe. Even me, I'm even pushing it by saying early 20s, probably mid-20s, I'm honest with y'all, 100%. Because I spent, and even to this day, it's something I still do. Slowly you start being like, how? I don't know how I know, I just know that I know.
Synchronicity.
Yeah, and then for me, it was actually when people started passing away, and I would know things. I'm like, I'll have a dream about it, and it would happen, and that would be part of my shock. So I spent most of my childhood really in fear around it because of the whole piece around, like, I didn't know how that fit into. I went to church every Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I grew up very Christian.
Mm-hmm.
On choir, baptized. I grew up very Christian, real life Christian.
I know the life.
So, and I just didn't know how to fit that into like my gifts, how it fit in, to be honest. And it just, the only thing that I could equate to for some time was like, it was bad, it was evil. Also, Men in Black terrified me, so I was like, the Men in Black will come for me. So I spent many years just like being very silent about it. Very, very silent about it. And it wasn't till my 20s, I think I started finding, like what you're talking about, people who are similar and people who had similar stories. And I was like, oh, I'm not the only one.
Hey, family.
And that changed my life completely.
Yeah.
So I feel like the piece you're talking about of like having your best friend there, I feel like that's something that, and it's funny though. I actually want to talk to this a bit because it's funny because being Jamaican is a little bit different. Because it's not that when you're Jamaican, it's not that people don't talk about it. Because everybody has dreams when you're Jamaican. People talk about it all the time. Yes. And I remember having a best friend when I was young, and she would see spirits. Like her mom would talk about it. She had a little best friend that they knew was a girl who had passed away because like the description and the name, and like so all these little things would happen growing up. But the way it happened is like everybody knew. But it was very hush. So you could find someone who you could talk about it openly with. That was a beautiful gift. Yeah. I feel like I'm just thinking about in terms of your journey, like that's really nice that you had that person. Yeah. Because I do think it makes a difference when you can talk about it openly and when you can't. It changes your relationship.
Oh, big time.
You know?
Big time, especially in the Jamaican culture too. Like the Jamaican culture, we're big on, yeah man, me dream her last night. Yeah man, me dream a fish, someone I pregnant, right? Yeah. So it's okay in that sense, but once you pass the dreams and you're like, well, I speak to spirit, I know how to jump dimensions, I know how to create, I know how to conjure, and I know how to work with the elements, my crystals and cards, they stop. Because they just don't know, right? Because just like in Jamaica and in a lot of countries, we have obia. And a lot of the crystals and cards all come from the spirituality of obia. Bad, you know, don't touch that. Like, you know what I mean? So that's where the fear comes from. So some people couldn't even talk to their parents about their dreams, right? If they were dreamers, right? And that was like me. I never had my parents. My parents we did not talk about that. So I had my one friend, and she was the one I'd go to and have these really dope, intense conversation, and she got it. You know, I'd be like, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing outlines of like, you know, really tall beings, and you know, they say they're my angels, and she's like, yeah, I see that too. How do you, you know, let's start talking to them. Let's start, you know what I mean? And then over the years, you learn how to use discernment. You learn how to still ask God for protection. I mean, you know what I mean? Still ask God, because all this is God. All the universe, spirit is God, right? You're just asking, how do I use this spirit in my life? Right?
So I'm wondering, for someone who's really like in the very beginning, budding stages of life and wanting to understand better how to really, I guess, incorporate spirituality, incorporate, I think even like just the basics of like meditation, like just how do you incorporate these things into your life?
Well, the first thing I would say that I started doing was that before I started using any type of esoteric tools, so before I touched crystals, before I touched oracle cards, before I touched nature, I got in touch with myself. Because what's important is for you to realize, what energies am I working with? And this is what I mean by that. So how does my energy feel? Right? Are you calm? Are you jittery? Are you quick? Like, are you fast paced? What is your energy DNA? My energy DNA is very, very calm, right? Because I'm always attuned to so many things that I have to be in a very calm state of mind in order to receive these things. So when it's just my energy, it's not being affected by anybody else. It's really quiet and calm. Like I can hear the cells and vibration of my body buzzing. That's how calm my energy is, right? And then figure out, how does God's energy feel for you, right? Does it feel like, ooh, you're vibrating? Do you feel like emotional? You want to cry, right? You figure out how each energy plays in your life. How does your mother's energy feel, right? How does mom feel? How does dad feel? How does your sister feel? How does your best friend feel? When you start to discern the energies in your life, now you're slowly starting to become the alchemist of your life, right? And now you're really starting to touch on really intense things. But a lot of people today are just like, yeah, I'm a tarot reader. Yeah, I'm good at crystals. Yeah, I'm a Ruja. I'm a witch, right? Which is nothing wrong with that. But I always say, go back to the basics, right? Because when you can really know yourself and know that you don't need any tools to be magic, that's very important that a lot of people realize. Let the magic begin with you.
I definitely agree. I feel like for myself in my journey, similar to what you're saying, I felt like it was very, like I couldn't, again, like no cards, no crystals, like nothing. For me, the beginning of my journey was my journal, me, my pen and my paper, and like just meditating and just like writing and just writing and spending hours, like and just spending literally just hours with myself writing. And I think that piece for me was really powerful. Because it helped me to not be dependent. Because I'm gonna be honest, it gets really easy to be dependent on pulling a card or be dependent on crystals, just being dependent on external energies to support you. When really, I think that a lot of how spirituality and self-love connect for me is really learning to love yourself and trust yourself, so much so that you can hear, like you already know the answer before you pull a card. Your expertise, do you have maybe 3 tips that you can give someone who's like, I want to really start healing this thing, whatever the thing may be in my life?
Of course. Well, before I say those 3 tips also, let me tell you, say that I specialize in the chakras. Okay. And the chakras are an energetic system in the body that's thousands of years old. And basically, these chakras are a disc that runs along up the spine to the top of your head. They govern every kind of organ. They govern each chakra govern a certain part of your body. Right?
That's real.
Yeah. And when I got told in a dream by spirit that you were gonna start using the system to heal, I was like, what? I'm not Indian. I don't know the system, right? Because it's a very ancient Indian. It comes from India, and a lot of my Indian friends knew about this, but they never. So I was just like, but hold up, I don't know anything about this, right? Yeah. And then when I really started to study it and start really going deep in learning what governs what and how to heal it, and oh my God, my life completely changed. Yeah. So with the chakras, for example, the solar plexus, or let me say the heart. So the heart chakra is right in the middle of our chest, right? It governs forgiveness. It governs love. It governs how we love and accept love into our lives, right? When it's not spinning properly, and when you're having disorders, maybe like palpitations in your chest, maybe you can't breathe properly, maybe you're going to the doctors and they're telling you have the rhythmic of your heart is not right. That means your heart chakra is not running properly. The cause of your heart chakra not running properly is that who are you not forgiving in your life? Who are you holding onto resentment? Right? Who has broken your heart, literally and configuratively, right? So stuff like that. When I have a client, my gift that I was born into this world is that I can actually see the energy system of these chakras inside a person's body, right? Like I see how they run, I see what's stuck to them, I see everything, and I could innately go into a person's body and just check, and I'm like, yeah, you have some heart issues, right? And I'm like, who are you holding on to resentment? Who's that guy? right? Mm-hmm. Who is that parent? Who is that person, right? And then once we figure that out, then I can tell you how to heal it. So with the heart chakra, how to heal it is basically to write. Because what you're going to do is you're going to write letters to these people that have really hurt you. And on a full moon or a new moon or even a waning moon, you're going to burn it under the moon. Right? This is a releasing ceremony that you're releasing it back to the earth, right? And Mother Earth knows how to cleanse all things, right? So what I would say in the 3 steps, and when you want to start to learn to heal, is just like what you said, right? You may not know about the chakras, but innately everyone knows how to write. When you write and start putting words on paper, parts of your body is so wise that even if you're not aware of what you're putting on the paper, your body, certain parts of your body will tell you what's going on. I feel sick to my stomach. Oh, you feel sick to your stomach. That's probably your solar plexus right in the middle, right? So you're having problems with power and your worth. And so your body talks to you, right? So start writing. What are you feeling? What's upsetting you, right? That's really important. Number 2, I would say start to meditate, right? Start just to calm your mind, right? And meditation doesn't have to be hard. Like, oh my God, I can't think, I oh my God, I have to be like a monk and just myself. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be that serious. All meditation is for you to be present in the now moment. Right? That's all meditation is. So you're feeling yourself. How does the energy in your room feels? Does it feel thick? Does it feel light? Ooh, How is your heart? Listen to your heart. How does your heart sound? Is it beating strongly? Is it, is it nervous, right? How is your body feeling, right? That's what meditation is just becoming present in the now. And the 3rd thing that I would say when you're starting your healing journey is just be mindful of what your joy is, right? Because what your joy and what your happiness is what your purpose is. It really ain't that hard. You know what I mean? Yeah. What are you attracted to? What attracts you? What, when you think of it, you get really passionate about? You start to get emotional. Is it helping kids all over the world get clean water? What is that? So maybe you need to start working with the elements of water and visualizing clean water for the whole world to have. Because your purpose is not just for you. Your purpose is to help the whole world. Yeah. So what can I do today that I love to do that I can make a difference for myself and the world at large? And those are the 3 things I would start with.
Thank you. Yeah. I felt myself in my mind being like, wait, let me check this out. Am I doing this? But it's really real because even in terms of what you're talking about meditation, I haven't meditated in a hot minute because I've been so caught up in like
it's very hard sometimes.
Physical things of life. I just moved and like trying to do business stuff. I can get caught up in that. And it actually was today I was feeling a little bit off and I hadn't even noticed I haven't meditated. I didn't even notice that could be why I was feeling off. And it was my partner who was like, when's the last time you meditated? And I was like, it's true, I haven't done that in like 2 weeks. No wonder I'm feeling like very jittery, just not grounded. Just, So I feel like when you said that piece around meditation, I was like, it definitely makes a difference. Like, and I think it's just like, you can't even just do one of these things. You can't, like, it's not something where you can just write or just meditate. It's you touched on it a bit, and I want to hear more about that. What does it look like in your session? You talk a little bit about how you work with chakras personally, but I would love to hear, like, walk us through a session. What is it like when we enter?
Come into my world.
What is it like? What do folks do? Like, when someone has a session with you, like, what do they say? Like, do they have to come to you with a question? Do they come to you with a problem? Or like, is it kind of like, when you go to a therapist, you can just kind of sit on the couch? Like,
just talk here.
Like, what is it like?
Yeah. Well, the way I work, I don't like my clients to come in and tell me anything, right? Because I want to show them how powerful their body is, and their body is going to talk to me and tell me everything. And this is how I have some of the most committed, most down to earth clients that is not going to go to nobody else because they know my techniques and they know how I work and it's been proven. And so when they come in, all they need to do is just be dressed comfortably. That's all they need to do, right? They come in, do you want a cup of tea? I have some dandelion root, I have some nettle tea, I have some peppermint tea. How you feeling, right? Usually we start drinking a cup of tea. How's your day? Simple questions, right? How's your day? How's the sun, right? I don't want to know anything deep yet, right? And then they lay down and then they just relax and I'm playing very soft music in the background. I have all my candles lit around. So it's a very peaceful atmosphere where they can just relax and just trust. I have sage burning or Palo Santo in the corner burning. It's just a vibe that you can just trust because you have to trust your healer. You have to trust that, you know, even if you're scared, you can trust this person that they're going to take care of you if anything happens. Because the number one thing that people fear is that what's going to happen to me, right? So it's hard to let go and let somebody just totally have your energy and work with you, right? So they come in and they lay down. And the first thing I do, they're laying down, close their eyes by this point, and I scan their body. And literally from their feet, I just go over their body with my hand and I just feel where my hands get really, really hot or really, really cold. And I listen to what their body's telling me. So I'll go from the feet and the feet might tell me she's not grounding a lot, right? She has a lot of stuck energy in her feet. Okay. And I'll listen, right? And I'll keep going up to the legs and the legs will tell me she's having circulation problems. Okay. Right? And then I'll go up and then I'll start working with all the chakras. And all the chakras will tell me the messages that he or she is holding into the body. And then I do work where I clear it. Like I visualize and I use my energy and I clear each chakra. And I use crystals. I use sage to clear the aura. And this is a session that goes on for an hour. This is not a 5-minute thing. It goes on where I'm in full another dimensional mode where I'm not here because I'm in your body, right? After I'm done the healing and the clearing, what I do is that by this time my clients are usually like passed out, right? Because that's what healing does. Healing totally just takes you out, right? So they're either snoring away, which is perfectly fine. Like gone.
Okay.
Right? I have some clients who just burst out in like emotions where they just start really crying and then I have to like, are you okay? Or do you want to just express it? And they're like, I just want to express it. Go for it. And I just hold space for them to do that, right? Because I know that the work that I'm doing is causing this release, right? And that's good. We need that. We need it to come out of your body. And then while they're basically the healing is working on them, I write a report for them. So I tell them everything that I saw in their body. And this report is usually about 4 to 5 pages. It's a long report. Because this is my mantra. I am not your God. You are the master healer of your life. I'm here to remind you of what you can do for yourself and clear you so you can continue forward doing the work yourself. So by doing this report, it's a report that tells them what's stuck, what needs to be done, what needs to continue to be done, and things that they can do to continue the healing after they leave me.
Okay.
Right? So if they're having heart chakra issues, I'll tell them, take yourself out to dinner. I want you to buy yourself a rose every week. Right? I want you to look in the mirror and say affirmations 5 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night. You have to do this. I tell them when the full moons are, I need you to do releasing work on this and this day, right? I need you to walk in the forest barefoot and really ground. I need you to do this. So this is all the stuff that I write based on what I see in their bodies. And then I write it up for them the next day. And I say like, it's Tanya's energy report. And they love it because they're like, whoa, everything is here. And usually that's how I get my clients because everything I say, I'm like, okay, I know you went through a really bad breakup, and I tell them in details, and they're like, how did you know that? I didn't tell you anything. And this is why I don't ask about their life in the beginning, because their body's gonna tell me about their life. I don't even say anything, and this is how, because a lot of them just look at me like, there's no way for you to know that, And that's how I confirm my work too for myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they go home and they do the work after they leave me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do.
Okay, that's so dope.
So crystals, first of all, is the most oldest esoteric tool on Earth.
Okay.
Crystals come from the earth, right? This is why they're so powerful. So anyone that tells you crystals is not working, they don't do anything. They came before us, and they'll probably leave us after we leave this earth. So crystals are formation that form in the crust of the earth, and each crystals basically govern a certain part of our healing and certain part of connecting us to a very multidimensional world that we live in. Okay. Crystals are amazing to work with. So for example, this citron. So citron is orange, and usually this is the tumbled version. When I mean tumbled version, that means it's sharp, has sharp edges, it's not smooth, it's not man-made where they sand it to make it smooth, right? A lot of people prefer the tumbled version. So like for example, citron is, and it also coincides with the chakras also, right? Okay. So citron is yellow, great for the solar plexus, great for power, great for getting back into your power, and it's also great for clearing negativity in your life. I don't go anywhere without my citron. Because I'm so sensitive to energy that I basically, as an empath, every kind of energy comes towards me, and I need to make sure that at all costs I'm protected. So I have one either in my bra that I carry or in my pockets, and basically it acts as a buffer and protects my aura against any bad thing coming to me. Ancient Egypt, and pyrite is like abundance, is, oh my god, the list goes on. Research it. Pyrite, it's for abundance, for being conscientious of what you put out into the world when it comes to your abundance, when it comes to your abundant, the way you think of yourself, the way you think of life, the way you think of things around you, how you manifest, right? Yeah. This is amazing stone for that, pyrite. So many different things too that I can't think of in the moment, because there's so much amazing stuff.
There's so much, and I feel like what is for you, you will be drawn to, and you will find naturally.
Yes.
Also.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about like oracle cards, tarot cards? What is the difference? What are they? How do you use them? When should you use them?
Yes. I love me some. The first esoteric tool, even before crystals, that I started using was oracle cards. Oracle cards, for example, like this one, the wild Kuan Yin oracle cards, right? What oracle cards are usually a stack of cards with images on them, right? So they'll look like this. So they'll have like an image with like a word at the bottom, right? I don't know if you can see it. There you go, right? And what oracle cards do, and I always suggest people who are starting on their journey, always use an oracle card before you do a tarot card. I'll explain why. With the oracle card, all you get is like a simple sentence like this: Harvest Mother watches over me, right? How I started was, okay, the person pulled this card. I would be forced to go into the energy of, okay, what does this really mean for you? Right? And it would sharpen my intuition, because I would get all these messages of what this card means for this person, right? So instead of looking at the image, or you solely relying on just solely relying on the theme of the card or the image of the card or the word of the card, I would have to rely on my intuition to tell me why this card is for you and what it means for you and what the answer is for you, right? I love oracle decks, right? Now, I don't have a tarot deck with me. Tarot deck are usually the Rider-Waite tarot decks, whereas like the Hangman or the Devil or the Queen, or those cards are very specific, because if you get the Devil card, you know that, okay, I'm going through transformation. This is a clearing is going into my life. Somebody needs to come out of my life. It's very that with what you need to do. Yeah. Right? It's told. You can see it. I don't really have to go really deep in my intuition to let you know more about this card. And these are the two differences between tarot and oracle. Oracle, you have to connect with your intuition and read the card. Tarot tells you what it is based on what the person picks out. So I always say when you're starting to read, start first with the oracle deck.
That note, as we start talking about Instagram, I want to wrap up, but I would love for you to tell folks, like, where can they find you? How can they get more information? If they're like, this is dope, I want more, where are you at?
Yeah, I'm all over. I'm an official. I'm like, where am I not? Is that question. So I'm officially a business where I do energy work. I do oracle and tarot readings. You can catch me on my website at natoyahall.com. That's Natoya, NATOYAHALL.com. And the same with on Instagram, I'm known as Chakra_messenger. And on Facebook, you can search me, Natoya Hall, and you will see me. And you can connect with me there and find out more about my services. I teach also, and I create goddess ceremonies where I get practitioners from the indigenous land, from our ancestral background, Black, Indigenous, really amazing folks to come and teach amazing workshops about healing and stuff. So I was guided to do that, like get us back into our power, get us back teaching what our ancestors died for. So I'm very big, and if you want to teach and when you come to one of these workshops, please come through.
Yay, thank you. Can I?
Yes! Aww. Yeah, thank you, my love.
Thank you. I feel like I got so much from this. I'm like, okay, I feel like,
I feel good.
Centered. Yes, I love it.